Good morning, everyone. My name is Don Daniel, founder of P.I.L.L Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And listen, let's start with P.I.L.L Method. P.I.L.L stands for prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity. And if you are listening to us over on YouTube, I'm sorry, if you're listening to us in Clubhouse, transition over to YouTube because the audio is getting ready to be turned off here in Clubhouse. Come on over to YouTube so that you can get all of this information. You want to see it and listen to it. All right. So let's go ready to get started. Brother AJ, how are you doing this morning? He is watching us on YouTube this morning. First day of the week. You got that right, Brother AJ. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got some folks coming in. We got some folks coming in to YouTube. Let's go ahead and get started. Getting ready for this conversation. Listen, if you have student loans, you want to get into this conversation today. If you have student loans, you want to understand this conversation today. All right. We've done it before, but we're going to dive in a little deeper with the history this time. But first, can I tell you a story of a student I met just a few years ago? And, here in Huntsville at Oakwood University, and I got an opportunity to speak to some of the graduating seniors. And after hearing what I had to say about student loans and how they can manage their student loans, I received a phone call. This young man said, I just got a car so that I can get to my new job. And I have this student loan. And my student loan is only $9,500. I mean, compared to the other students he knows, his student loan debt was minimal. And so he tells me, I want to be able to pay off my student loan debt and my car. What is the best way to go about that? So I asked him, so tell me about your student loan debt. He said, well, it's $9,500 and it's at 6%. And they gave me an income-based repayment program where I can pay $50 a month. I said, okay. I said, let me show you, ladies and gentlemen, what this means to the student, because he didn't know. I said, now, how long do you think it would take you to pay off $9,500 at 6%, okay, at $50 a month? He had no idea. So what I did was I put it on an amortization schedule so he could see it. All right. So what I want to do here is put this on the screen so you all can see it with me. All right, there we are. There it is. Okay, so I need you to see this with me. It's $9,500 at 6%, and he's paying $50 a month. Can you guess how long it will take him to pay off this loan if the banks have their way? Can you just even guess? Well, let me go ahead and calculate it, and you'll be able to see. All right, there it is. 601 payments. Brother AJ said he thinks it's 10 years. 601 payments, Brother AJ. That's 50 years. 50 years. 50 years. This is what they're doing to our students coming out of college with these loans, not understanding how interest actually works. 50 years. All right. So we're not bringing anybody on screen here on Clubhouse. I'm getting ready to turn off the audio on Clubhouse. Come on over to YouTube. All right. Click the link. come on over to YouTube and you'll be able to come on stage there. All right. So we're getting ready to shut this down right now. Come on over to YouTube. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's what's happening. When you see this, and if you want to talk about it, come on up, click the link that you see at the top of the comment section, and follow the instructions for StreamYard, and you'll be able to come into the studio and have this conversation with us. But I need you to understand what's going on here. And then we're going to get into the history. I'm going to start here first, showing you some numbers. Then we're going to get into how did all of this get started. And not only that, but I'm going to give you the information you need to do the study on your own. Okay, so watch this. $9,500. And why is it taking so long when you can amortize this thing at $50 a month at 6% interest? Why does it take, watch this, $30,000 in interest to pay back a $9,500 loan? Brother AJ, what are we doing? All right. $9,500. It takes $30,000. I'm sorry. It takes $20,550 interest to pay back the loan. And when you add it all together with the amount of the principal and the interest, it comes to $30,050. That's what the bank wants back. They lend you $9,500, but you're going to pay back $30,050 if you let them have their way. I'm going to give, generally, I wait towards the end of the show to give you some idea of what we can do about this. But I'm going to bring the end to the beginning. I'm going to give you some hope at the beginning, and then we're going to go through how this student loan thing got started in the first place. Okay? So watch. So here we go. Total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 216%. Can you imagine? The loan is really 216%, and they didn't even know. So let's take a look at how this loan breaks down. The very first payment, ladies and gentlemen, the very first payment here, how much money goes to principal? I mean, pays the loan down, and how much goes to interest? This is a $50 a month payment given to someone straight out of college that's never had a class on how loans actually work. And this is just $9,000, not $95,000, not $100,000, not $200,000. Some of our kids have, overwhelming debt. We're going to get into that in just a minute, but just this right here, $2.50 goes to principal, while $47.50 goes to interest. This is how this young person is paying back this loan. He would have paid it back this way if he hadn't talked to me. What if I hadn't gone to speak to the graduating seniors in his dorm? What if I hadn't done that? He wouldn't have known to call, and he would have been stuck in here. Do you know, I've had people come to my office who graduated from Oakwood University, well, it's Oakwood College then, 30 years ago, and they still have those student loans. Yes, it happens. It's going on right now, and it's more than you think, because we don't understand how it all works. Can I give you just a little bit and tell you how it works? Just a little bit. Okay? So if you have a loan that looks like this, $2.50 going to principal, $47.50 going to interest, this amount pays down the loan of $9,500, and this is what you have left, $94.97.50. But the next month, $2.51 is the principal payment, and $47.49 goes to interest. 1 penny difference. The next month, 2 pennies difference on the interest. The next month, again, 1 penny, 1 penny, 1 penny, 2 pennies difference. The interest goes down so slowly. This is why all the principal payments start out at $2.50 on the first month. Then it's $2.64 on the 12th month. So when you add up all the principal payments for 1 year, $30.84 pays down the loan for 1 year. $569.16 goes to interest in the first year. So let's give you some hope right here. Okay. You need to understand that most of these loans can be paid off. Listen to me now. All right. I want you to look me straight in the eye. Most student loans, if you can afford your payments, if you have a decent job, can be paid off in an average of 5 to 7 years. Yes, I said it. 5 to 7 years, not 30 years to never, 5 to 7 years once you understand how the loan works. I think that all students everywhere need to take a P.I.L.L method course and understanding how these loans work. I've had opportunities to share this with students. So I think they need to see what I'm getting ready to show you. In the first month they pay this loan, $50 goes to the student loan company. And if you take a look at February, the next month's principal payment, let's say the first payment is in January. February's principal payment is only $2.51. So what if this student got an extra $2.51 and applied it to his loan in January? Guess what would happen? The bank would have to subtract this $2.51 from his loan in January. He's paid down to line 2 in January, and his next loan payment is on line 3. That's for $2.51. Gets rid of line 2 for $2.51. And the interest of $47.49 is gone. Never has to pay it. He gets to give the bank this $2.51 for free. For free. Now, what if he did this? What if he paid this and then gave the bank the $2.51, the $2.53, and the $2.54? What if he did that? Okay. A $7, little over $7.50. $7.50 knocks off 3 payments he never has to make. Almost $150 in interest that he'll never have to pay. And his next payment is on line 5 of the amortization schedule for $7.50. Can you imagine that? What if you knew that? What if all students knew this? That they can get rid of their loans in no time if they just knew how the whole thing worked. Well, let me show you this, and then we'll get into the history. Right here, cumulative principal and cumulative interest. I need you to see the first year here, $30.84. $30.84 would go to principal in the first year if they followed the bank's program. $569.16 would go to interest. So here's my question. This $30.84. Do we have to pay that in 12 monthly installments? Put it in the chat. Do we have to pay it in 12 monthly installments? This $30.84. Yes or no? Yes or no? Do we have to pay it? I'm waiting for somebody to put it in the chat. Okay? Brother AJ, yes or no? Do they have to wait? Do they have to pay that $30.84 He said, yes, I think. No, they don't have to pay it. They don't have to pay it in 12 monthly installments. Guess what? If they had this $30.84, they could pay it all at once on line 1 and be paid down to line 12 in 1 month. Let me show you. We had $9,500. $9,500. Look at this. Look at this. We're going to subtract the $30.84 all at once, not in $2.50 increments. We're going to do it all at once. So subtract $30.84, subtract $30.84 equals 9,469.16. That's 9,469.16. You see here? You see here? 9,469.16. It's the same amount. For an extra $30, I need you to hear me now. For an extra $30, this student can knock off 1 year off his student loans and save $569 in interest. It doesn't have to pay. Can you imagine that? Wait. I'm not done. Let's go down here. Cumulative principal. Oh, this is after 2 years. This is 2 years. $63.57 is all that would go to this loan in 2 years. Do you know we have people who are paying their loans just like this and they have no idea what's really going on, how much money is actually going to pay down the loan? $63.57. What if they paid this all on the first payment? Do you know they knock off 2 years off this loan and save over $1,000 in interest? Well, what about 3 years? That's $98.33. $98.33 on this loan would kill 3 years off this loan, okay? And save $1,700 in interest. Are you catching the drift now? All right, let me just go down to 5 years, $174. Now, some of the kids I know that are graduating from college these days, they're making significant income. What if they had an extra $74.42? Do you think if they knew what was going on, they could knock off 5 years off this loan and save $2,800 in interest? Do you see what's going on here, folks? By not educating the students, the student loan companies are making money hand over fist. So we're going to put a link in the chat. And this is from a podcast. This is from a podcast called Throughline. We're going to put a link in the chat, and this gives you the history of student loans. You want to listen to this. I am telling you, it is amazing. Amazing. But listen, I'm going to give you some of the highlights of this thing. All right. So here's what's going on in this, what I've learned from listening to this podcast. All right. People needed, after coming out of the war in 1945, the government started to issue grants to soldiers so that they could get into school. But what they did was they didn't pay it directly to the soldiers. They gave it to the schools themselves. They gave the money to the schools so that these vets returning home could go to college. Okay? But what happened? What happens when you give the money to the schools and let them give the money to the soldiers? In some instances, and in fact, in a lot of instances, especially in the South, it didn't matter. If you were black or brown, it didn't matter. You couldn't get into school. They weren't going to let you into the school, even though the money was there for you to go to school. Okay. So there was some problems with this whole grant system thing. All right. But even with the problems, when they started this, college enrollment doubled in a couple of years. Just even though it was unfair, college enrollment still doubled in a couple of years. Listen, there was some proposed legislation. Watch this. There was some proposed legislation to make college. So if we could give the soldiers grants, why couldn't we give everyone grants? Why couldn't we give everyone grants? Well, I think you know the answer to that. Because when you start making college affordable for everyone, that means everyone. And we're talking about the 1950s. And we weren't trying to give everyone a college education. We just weren't doing that. We would have done it for some, but not for everyone. And so there was a problem with that. And so they called it, to keep it from college from being free for every American, they called it socialism and killed the whole idea. And then, so what happens next is very important. So what they decided to do was this. Why don't we do this? At first, the money was given to the colleges, and then the government says, well, why don't we give the money to the students? And then the students can go to the colleges of their choice. The idea was proposed to do that, but here's what happened. The government said, we don't want to be in the business of student loans. So why don't we get the banks to do it? Okay. The bank said, well, I don't know, because student loans are risky. What if they don't graduate? What if they get a job that can't pay us back? You know, there's a lot of what ifs here. So the banks didn't want to get into it. So the government says, don't worry about it. We'll guarantee these loans. So the banks became what we call a cosigner. So I mean, the government became a cosigner on these bank loans. So the bank said, oh my gosh, yes, we will now lend the money to the students. And then if the government will back these loans and make sure that we get paid, no problem at all. So the student loan program took off, when at first, let me tell you something, the idea of giving these soldiers these grants doubled college entrance over what has previously been done. What if they had done this for everyone? And what they were looking at is, if we invest in our young people will keep us at the top, will keep America at the top. We will have an educated society. We will have advancements in technology. We will have scientists. We will have doctors. We will have an educated society, and no country on earth will be able to touch us. But because the money would have gone to everyone, we want to cut off our nose to spite our face. So what would have been a free education turned into a loan program. And then things started to break down from there. So what happens next is very interesting. So they had no idea how big this program would get. All right. So a higher education law was signed by President Lyndon Johnson, November 8, 1965. November 8, 1965. But here's what happens. Because of inflation, Because see, you can't foresee the future. Because of inflation, student loan rates went to 10%. Things got more expensive. So the government says, so now what we're going to do now is we're going to take over. We're going to take it over. But we're going to take it over in a different way. Have you heard of Sallie Mae? Sallie Mae was created as it was a private company for profit, but the government had oversight. The government has oversight over Sallie Mae, but it is a private company. Okay, so now what happens now? So the program was overseen by the government, and now guess who are the major share owners in Sallie Mae? The banks and colleges. The banks and colleges are the major shareholders in Sallie Mae. And guess what happens then? They're encouraged. They go on a rampage and try to lend out as much money as they possibly can. And guess what happens to college tuition in the 80s? College tuition goes out of sight. Let me see my notes here. 145% on average. College tuition goes up because here is a program. Watch this now. Here's a program where the government funnels money to Sallie Mae. Sallie Mae funnels the money to the colleges. And the colleges say, listen, come on in. The water's fine. We got plenty of money. Sign up for these student loans. And so it was a major revenue source for the colleges. It was a gold mine for the banks. And the colleges, actually, the student rolls in the colleges grew exponentially. I mean, it grew a lot. And so now we've got this thing going on. And then the monies that, see, the college tuition kept going up. So there was a time when the student loan wouldn't cover it all. And when the student loan didn't cover it all, then the banks started to experiment with private student loans. And when they experimented with that, they could charge whatever interest rate they wanted. And I'm telling you, after all of that happened, colleges increasing tuition, student loans being given to, encouraged to give. Listen, there was a big campaign for parents to sign up for student loans, for students to sign up for student loans. And if you are a student in college, tell me something. How is it that a student in college with no job can get student loans for all 4 years? Only because not only does the government guarantee that the banks will get their money back, the government also guaranteed that they will get interest as well. The banks had nothing to lose. All the risk was gone. And now we have, what do we have? Over 43 million borrowers, 1.5 trillion in student loan debt. And the banks don't care. How do you know that they don't care? How do you know that they don't care? Because if you call Sallie Mae right now, if you want to make a deal and say, listen, I want to pay less because my job I'm not making enough money to live and pay the student loans. So they'll give you a student a income-based payment program, but they don't change the amortization schedule. Remember the amortization schedule I showed you? They don't change it. It remains the same. So if you have a payment that's less than the scheduled interest payment, okay, let's go back to this loan. Let me show you what the banks are doing and how they don't care. All right. So we're going to go back to this loan, $50 a month. Well, the interest is $47.50 for the very first payment. So what if they give you a payment that's $40 a month? That doesn't even cover the interest payment. That means that's $7.50 that's not covered, that's not paid for. What happens to that $7.50, ladies and gentlemen? What do you think? The unpaid interest, what happens to that? Guess what? It becomes part of the principal. It becomes part of the loan. That unpaid interest now, even though you're paying $40 a month, you now owe more next month than you did this month. That you start out with $9,500, and next month, even though you paid them $40, you now owe $9,507.50. And it continues to grow. Some of the people that I've talked to in my office tell me they owe more now, 30 years later, than they did when they graduated. What in the world is going on? Why don't these banks care if I'm ever able to pay them back? Because the government guarantees their loan. They've already gotten their money back, and any extra money you give is just gravy. I need you to think about this for just a minute and what's really going on behind the scenes. Here's a situation where somebody's going to give me a loan program where I can pay interest, and I'm not even covering all of the interest. They'll never get their money back from me, but I am giving them money faithfully every single month. But my balance on my loan grows more and more and more. They've already received their money from the government because the government co-signed the loan. But because you have a loan that says that you can't be forgiven these loans, that you can't even bankruptcy can't even get rid of these loans. What's going on here? You're locked in to a system where the people that issued you the money already has received their money, and you're giving them gravy on top and never able to pay them back. My. What's going on here? So I need you to watch. I need you to listen to that podcast from Throughline. We put the link in the chat. Please listen to this. Okay? But listen, we're not going to leave you. We're not going to leave you there. I've got another podcast for you. This one is from a podcast called Planet Money. This one is a podcast from Planet Money. So I need you to also listen to this one, because this one from Planet Money talks about how you can get relief from your student loans. All right. You can get relief from your student loans. There is a brand new program going on right now. It started back in October, called the SAVE program, SAVE, the SAVE program. Let me put a fact sheet on the screen for you right now. Okay. This is from the White House. This is the biggest overall change in student loans in since forever. Since the whole program started, this is the best thing that's going on student loans since the whole program started. So you need to read this. We're going to give you the link to this too. All right. Here's the link to this fact sheet. We're going to put this link in the chat so you can get the link to this fact sheet as well. So listen, some of the things that you need to understand: the Secretary of Education initiated a rulemaking process aimed at opening an alternative path to debt relief. Now, what does that mean? Okay. Bill Clinton was the very first president, okay, by law, that could revamp the payment system. Remember when President Biden tried to forgive that immediately $10,000? Remember that? And Congress stepped in and says, you can't do that. Well, by law, he couldn't do that. But guess what? At the same time he was introducing that program, that forgiveness program, the SAVE program was being introduced at the same time. And this, on the face of it, is not a forgiveness program. It is a repayment program with a forgiveness clause. And by law, every president has the right to rewrite the laws that have to do with how these loans are paid back. Come on, everybody, jump on this. Now, I'm also, we're also going to give you the link so that you can apply for the loans. Some of you are already in the SAVE program, SAVE, SAVE program, okay? So here's some of the things that you need to know about the SAVE program. It started in October. But watch this. In addition to the protection, the most vulnerable borrowers from the worst consequences of missed payments following the payment restart after COVID, okay? The payment restart, guess what? The department this started in October. The department is instituting a 12-month on-ramp to repayment running from October 1, 2023 to September 30, 2024. So you can get into this where, watch this, so that financially vulnerable borrowers who miss monthly payments during this period are not considered delinquent. Oh my goodness. Listen, it pays to read, doesn't it? It pays to read. Oh, thank you, Strategic Secrets. Strategic Secrets says great content. You're like the financial Moses. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Chosen to deliver the people from financial bondage. Thank you for that. Because listen, this information is out here for you. All right. All right. And there's some people that don't want you to know, but I want you to know. I want you to know. This is something that you need to know. I wish somebody would come into the studio and talk to me, click the link and come in and talk. Okay. All right. Nabia, I see you there. I see you there. All right. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, what else is going on here? The monthly payments reported to the, okay, listen, watch this. So the financially vulnerable borrowers who miss monthly payments during this period are not considered delinquent, reported to credit bureaus, or placed in default, or referred to debt collection agencies. This is something that's going on right now. Listen, we just had a big jump in our viewership. I need you to go out here. Everybody that's viewing right now, will you please do this for me? Subscribe to the channel, comment in the section, like the videos, give us a thumbs up. Also, invite other people to this show. Other people need to see this. If they can't come in right now, that doesn't matter. Invite them anyway and let them know that they can catch the replay. They can catch the replay. All right. So look what else is going on. These actions reflect the president's belief that an education beyond high school should be a ticket to the middle class. Okay. So what else are they doing? The president has secured the largest increases to Pell Grants in a decade. Now, a grant is something you don't have to pay back. Now, at the same time, Congress was putting the brakes on President Biden's program to do the forgiveness. Did you know about the largest increases to Pell Grants in a decade? Did you know about that? You see, this was under the radar. I kind of think, now I can't prove it. I can't prove this, but I kind of think that if the president goes out there and says, I'm going to start forgiving a whole bunch of loans, then people are going to get opposition to that, but they won't notice this part. They won't notice the new SAVE program. They won't notice that. Okay. And they totally miss that. Okay. So what does Brother AJ say? What AJ, what are you saying? The Pell Grant is only for those without a bachelor's degree. That is true. That is true. It's not for those who want to go for a master's degree or doctorate. Okay. But listen, there's programs for that too. All in the SAVE program. We may not have an opportunity to go over everything that's in here. All right. But do the study yourself. Okay. Start studying the SAVE program for yourself. Okay. So approve more than 66 billion in loan cancellation for 22 million borrowers. You know how this works. How this works is once you apply for this program, one of the things that will happen is that it could cut your payment in half. It could cut your payment in half. All right. Uh-oh. All right. We got a question. Come on, question.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Ruby.
Hey. So my question would be is when you talked about the unwrap of, let's say somebody missed a payment during that unwrap, does that mean they get the whole year to catch up? So let's say somebody's behind by 2-3 months. Can they catch up during that year and still be on time when that is lifted? Or does that mean that during that time, it doesn't matter as long as they start paying? When should they be paying, I guess?
Okay, so during that time, you're not counted as late. So at the end of that, the way that I read this, at the end of it, Ruby, you should be able to it gives you time to get your finances together. Okay. It gives you time to get it together. And in that 1 year, hopefully you're able to do that. So I don't, what does that mean for the payments you missed? Not exactly sure.
Gotcha.
But it sounds like those don't count against you.
Gotcha. My second question would be is when it comes to student loans, if we have like multiple loans at different percentages, how should we consolidate all those into one payment, or should we be looking at that differently with the P.I.L.L method? How does the P.I.L.L method come into play when we have multiple loans with multiple different interest rates? Some are secured, some are unsubsidized loans. How does that work with the P.I.L.L method?
All right, that is a very good question. So when you're working with the P.I.L.L method, the P.I.L.L method takes your loans and looks at them individually and then tells you which loans to attack and when. Do not consolidate your loans. Do not consolidate your loans. All right. That is not that is not the first thing that you would do, because here's the thing with some of these loans, Ruby, when you apply for the SAVE program, your payment will be cut in half. Remember when I said before when you lower your payments, that it won't cover all of the interest. Remember when I said that?
Yes, I remember when you were showing that on the
Okay.
schedule.
With this new program, any unpaid interest is now forgiven and not added to the loan. Oh, how about that? Any unpaid interest is forgiven and not added to the loan. Okay? And some of your loans, some of you may even qualify, watch this, you may even qualify for a zero payment. Zero payment. If you have $12,000 or less, if you have $12,000 or less, here's the other thing, Ruby. Some people have come to the P.I.L.L method and said, can you help us pay off our loans faster? The answer is yes, we can, but you're going to pay back the entire loan. Okay, but you'll pay a lot less interest, but you're going to pay back the entire loan. But what if we did the math first? Here's what we do with people who come to us with student loans. First, we do the math and say, listen, if you have $12,000 or less and you pay for 120 payments, any money that you still owe after 120 payments is forgiven. Watch this. So once you have, let's say you have a low payment and you're not, and if you're over 12 years, over 10 years, you're not even coming close to paying off the loan. We'll tell you that the P.I.L.L method, do not put your student loans in the P.I.L.L method because it's cheaper to pay the small payment for 12 years and get the rest forgiven. Does that make sense? Or do I need to kind of show that on the screen?
Yes, that makes sense, what you're saying.
Okay.
So I guess when they give us a monthly payment, have they already consolidated our loans, or are they taking a percentage of each of our loans and putting it towards that monthly payment? How does that work? Here's
what they're doing. They're giving you one payment, but if you go on the loans website, all right, and you'll see all of your loans are listed individually with the interest rates, with the monthly payment. You pay them one payment, and then they divide up that payment amongst the loans. I have seen before this SAVE program, I have seen that where they would divide up the payment and only like $1.90 would go to a loan, or $2.50 or $5.30 would go to a loan. You think that your loans are consolidated, but they're not. To consolidate the loan means you get another loan to pay off all the other loans. And now you only have one loan left instead of the several loans that you had before. But what they're doing now is not consolidating. They're just giving you one payment, and then they divide it up.
So the magic of the P.I.L.L method is to look at all of those individual payments and say, okay, instead of me just paying what my monthly payment is and they only give maybe $1, I'm giving more so I can pay it off quicker with the P.I.L.L method. Well,
here's how the P.I.L.L method would look at it. Not every month. Most months, you're just going to pay the minimum payment, that one minimum payment. Because we entered your loans individually into the opportunity cost calculator, then every 2 or 3 or 4 months, out of the money that you're able to save up in your savings account, because the program is going to direct you when to put money in savings. When it hits a certain amount, the program is going to take it out. And let's say you have 10 student loans. It's going to say, I need you to take that extra money and put it on student loan number 7 this month and apply it to principal. Now, the rest of the loans get what they've always gotten, but loan number 7 is going to get that extra amount of money. And we're going to keep attacking that until the interest cost goes down on that loan. And then the program says, now we're going to go to student loan number 2. Does that help?
Yeah, it definitely helps. So if someone comes through your program, my last question,
Sure.
will they allow me, like how you said number 7 and number 2, will they allow me to make my monthly payment like normally if the system told me that? And then how would I go about paying that principal on that small loan if I'm attacking number 7?
Very good question. So what you'll do is you have to make that minimum payment every single month. You always, okay? You're that's the obligation. You're still making that minimum monthly payment. And then when the program says put this money on number 7, you will contact your student loan company and say, listen, I want to put this loan, and you'll give them the account number. I want to put this money towards principal on this particular account. And they'll give you instructions on how that can happen.
Awesome. Thank you for all my questions being answered.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Folks, listen, we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to start this process. And you want to know how to get your student loans taken care of? One way or the other. We're going to talk about how to pay the loans off, but we're going to still talk about how to take advantage of the SAVE program after this break. Watch this video where Dr. Eric Thomas talks about paying off his debt in record time.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know about your student loans, go to ice10k.com, ice10k.com, and you can get a savings and earnings report, because not only can you pay off your student loans, you can pay off your mortgage, your student loans, your credit cards, your every loan that you have in about 7 to 9 years, everything. Now, also, we're going to do additional research for you, and you'll be able to not only do that, but maybe, just maybe, we can take your loans out of the P.I.L.L method, and you can make that lower payment for a number of years and then have the rest forgiven. Whichever way works best for you, that's what we're going to do. So get a free savings and earnings report. Scroll down underneath ET's picture and get your savings and earnings report for free. So you can learn about how to get rid of the student loans in record time, your mortgage and other loans, credit cards, everything, your car loans, everything in an average of 7 to 9 years, whether the P.I.L.L method helps you to pay off your student loans or you take advantage of the SAVE program. Whichever one is best for you, that's what you'll do. So don't forget, listen, get that savings and earnings report today. Fill it out. It's free. All right. So we have somebody in the studio with us this morning. Who do we have with us? Is that you, Nabia?
Yes, that's me, sir. How are you?
Doing just fine. Doing just fine. So, did you have a question for us?
Well, I know you've been talking about student loans, and I know that you have been saying, do not consolidate. Warning, warning, do not consolidate. So I'm not sure if I have a different situation because I do have a student loan. What happens when you go into the doctorate program, that means that your loans are higher. Hello?
Yes, that is correct.
So But because, and I had called, I'm one of those people that ask questions that they have to usually get their supervisor. So I asked the question, but then the lady said, do you work for a nonprofit? And I said, well, I have a nonprofit. So that's why she said, well, okay, you're ready to go for a PSLF. So I said, great. But of course, as you mentioned, you could do the 120 payments and then you're free and clear. So I just got a call from them about, I don't know, last month about consolidating and going to a company called Advantage. I think I'm allowed to say that because of what they do. But
okay.
So what they did was when I called in, I think the other day, and they said, well, they said, oh yeah, we already consolidated it. And I said, okay. So now I'm listening to you saying, don't consolidate. So I'm not sure if this is too late, but I also, my question specifically is, because I have a PSLF, is it going to be different as far as my
PSLF, what does that mean?
So that is a public service loan forgiveness program.
Okay, so public service. Okay, here's what, if you a public service loan forgiveness program,
yes,
it's cheaper for you to do that than work with us.
Okay.
Because your loan forgiveness program, the loan payment you have now will not pay off your loan.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
But in 120 payments, the rest is forgiven. Okay. So let's just say, let me put some numbers on the screen here. Okay. I'm going to put some numbers on the screen. Let's just say you have a loan that is $100,000. Okay. All your loans together, $100,000. Average payment is, the average interest rate is 6%. And let me see here. We're going to give, wait a second here. I pushed the wrong button. Okay, we're going to give, let's say your average payment on this is, okay, let's just do it over 30 years. Okay, we'll do it over 30 years. That's 360 months. So the payment would be $599.55. This will pay it off in 30 years. Let's say your forgiveness is $200 a month. Then they say, well, you can pay us $200 a month for 120 months. That's 10 years. Okay. So you take your $200. Okay. Let's get rid of this advertisement. Okay. So you take your $200, whatever you're paying, and multiply it by 120 months. Back it up. Times 120 months. That's 10 years. That's $24,000. Okay. If you work with the P.I.L.L method, you have to pay back the whole $100,000. We're going to save you a ton of interest. Okay. But you have to pay back the whole $100,000. With a loan forgiveness program that I just outlined, you'd only have to pay $24,000 and the rest is forgiven. So
yeah.
I'm not going to talk myself out of business, but I mean, my goodness.
Yeah.
So understand your money, And if somebody fills out something, we will go over, our staff will go over the particulars of your loan and how it breaks down. And it just may be that we'll say, thank you very much. If you don't have a mortgage now, come back when you do. We'll help you with that. But your student loans, it's just going to be cheaper for you to continue on and make your full 120 payments.
Yeah, it's interesting because although I have not made any payments, they're still counting every month as though I have.
That is another part. Da, 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 da! I'm sorry. I just get so excited about this, girl. So that's just another part of this. Now we have two sheets. One is the IDR income driven repayment fact sheet.
Yes.
And this is the read more fact sheet. So we're going to put these links in the chat as well. So some of you will qualify for a zero payment. Okay, Nabia, no, I don't want you to go anywhere, Nabia. I need you here. Some of you will qualify for a zero payment. And in the SAVE program, those zero payments, watch this, the zero payments count as a payment made in your 120 payments.
That's right. That's right. That's a true story.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is the biggest thing since sliced bread. Yeah. I'm telling you, if you haven't registered for the SAVE program, you better do it now, because there's a lot of benefits in there. Getting your payments cut in half. Some of you are going to get zero payments. And if you owe more than $12,000, then you'll pay the minimum payment for 20 years.
Yeah.
But if you work for certain jobs where you have a nonprofit, or you work for a hospital, or if you're a teacher, it doesn't matter. They'll forgive your undergrad loans in 120 months or 10 years. But if you're not working in one of those jobs where you can get the same program that Nabia is on, then you go into another part of the SAVE program where you'll pay for 20 years. So let's say you go back to the same loan, okay, and you pay it for 20 years. That's 240 months, okay? So we have a $200 payment. And I don't know what your payment is, but you do the math. $200 payment times 240 months, okay? That's still $48,000. You still come out about half. You see what I'm saying? And the rest gets forgiven. Right. Whoo, my goodness.
And if you don't know, they're not going to tell you. So ask a lot of questions. Ask a lot of questions. There are no dumb questions. Just ask.
None.
So
Zero.
What do my payments look like? So, well, what happens from there? Okay, so what are the next steps? Ask questions. And,
yes.
Because when I found out that even though I wasn't currently making payments, they were still counting every month as though I made a payment. So I have all of these payments that went in, but I haven't paid anything. So, but for those of you that are either you own a nonprofit or you're working for a nonprofit 501c3, yeah, you better get on the call and find out from the U.S. Department of Education what can be done. Ask them about the public service student loan forgiveness program. Yeah.
Man, oh man, oh man. Listen, you better ask somebody. You better ask somebody. Ruby, what you got for us? You got another question for us?
Yeah, I mean, she said, so you said, so if I work for a 501c3 like a church, does that count?
It doesn't. Oh, that absolutely counts. It could be a ministry. It could be a church. It could be any 501c3 tax exempt organization.
And where do I go to sign up for that?
You can contact the U.S. Department of Education. You can go to studentaid.gov. You can actually call them and ask them. You can Google their phone number and call them and say, "Hey, I work for 501c3. Where do I go from here as far as my loans are concerned?" And they will have you to. They will actually email you, or you can actually go on the website and pull up that public service loan forgiveness application. You fill that out, and then they will take it from there.
Thank you. I will do that.
Wow. Listen, I am just. I am just excited about all of this information today. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're loving this information today, put a number 9 in the chat for me. Put a number 9 in the chat if you're loving this information. If you know somebody who has student loans that they're hanging around like household pets, okay? They need to be. They need to be. Chiquita, come on, girl. I love it. All right. So she put a number 9 in. All right. You need to understand what's going on with these things. Okay. So we're going to put a link in the chat. So if you were in the old payee program, let me see if I can find that. Okay. Do you see there? This is revised pay as you earn program. Pay the repay with an E at the end, the repay E program. If you are in that program, you are automatically grandfathered into the SAVE program. Okay, automatically. All right. But still, listen, don't just listen to me. Call and find out. Listen, this is not a situation where if you call and find out, you're going to end up worse off. If you call and find out, you're going to end up better off no matter how it shakes out. You'll either get a lower payment or no payment, or you'll get 12 years for forgiveness or 20 years for forgiveness. So listen, you're not going to end up worse off if you check into this thing, and you still may take advantage of the rest of the on-ramp situation where you'll still have time to get into to work out your finances if you had a lower if your payment was lowered by about 50%. Okay, does this make sense, everybody? I just hope you take advantage of this. So Ruby, we want to make sure that
and I did drop a link in the chat.
No, you put it in the wrong chat.
No, on YouTube.
On YouTube?
Yeah, I did, because I noticed I put it in the wrong chat. So
okay. Okay. Well, you may not be able to put a link in. Did it show up?
It's in there. I'm looking right at it.
I put the link in.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because people from the outside generally can't put links in because they'll be trying to put all this stuff in. So so we have to put it in for you.
Okay, no worries.
The links have to be screened.
It is finished.
All right, folks. Listen, are you learning some stuff here? So listen, whatever ideas you come up with, Nabia, just talk about that. So here's the repayee program. You get grandfathered in. Here's some information on the amounts of money that you can make, how they're going to do the math, but still, this is just part of the information. But please give them a call. I have a link for you to apply. All right, let's go ahead and give them the link so that you can apply for the SAVE program. We're going to put that in the chat.
Is that part of the link you sent me earlier, or is that new links?
I think that's part of the one I sent you earlier. It should say apply for SAVE. If
no,
not,
I don't have that one.
You don't have that one? I cut it off then. Hold on. I've got it right here. I'm looking at it, but I'm going to give it to you. Hold on. Copy.
John, can I say something real
You
quick?
can say whatever you want, dear.
So also, just to be clear, I mean, not everybody works for a nonprofit or has a nonprofit, but if you are a teacher, if you have a disability, you can qualify for loan forgiveness. I don't know if there are any nurses or doctors out there or other medical professionals. It says that right on the website. So when you go on there, whatever applies to you, just click on it. And even if it's not you, if it's someone that you know, please share the information because it's going to be huge for them.
I'm telling you. And listen, I'm glad to announce right now that Brother AJ just went and found out that he's already in the SAVE program. Come on, Brother AJ.
He's saved.
Come on now. He's saved. That's funny. God. Oh my goodness. All right. So listen, you're already in there. That's fantastic. So some of you are going to find out some other good stuff. So let me see. I got some other comments in here. It says, good morning. I am a high school teacher and work for a church. It is better for me to apply for the teacher forgiveness program or the public loan forgiveness program. I know I can't do both. Just do the math, Chiquita. Listen, just do the math. You'll just take a look at how much you need to pay. What is your payment? Okay. And then how long you'll have to pay it for, and figure out which one is going to be the cheapest for you. I never know. People ask me questions like that all the time. All I'm saying is we just do the math, just multiply it out, and you'll figure out which one is going to be the best for you. All right. Does that make sense, Shaquita? I just love it. Okay. But because you are a teacher, you're going to be doing well with your student loans. All right. And not only that, but even though you're doing well with your student loans, you still need to fill out a savings and earnings report, especially if you have a mortgage. Okay. Even if we don't put the student loans in the program, all right, you still need to go ahead and fill that out, and so that you can know what is going on. Because I'm getting ready to pull something up on the screen for you guys in just a minute here, so you can see that. So, Nabia, did you have something else for us?
Oh yeah, because I was just noticing, because if she's a teacher and she's working full time, then it'll work for her, and your loan forgiveness is going to be up to about $17,500. And so, and if you teach full time for 5 companies in consecutive academic years in a low income elementary school, secondary school, or educational service agency, and if you have direct loans or federal family education loans. So just go on the website and check it out, and you can apply for teacher loan forgiveness. Just check it out. Like Don says, the numbers don't lie. So whatever is going to be cheaper for you, that's going to be the best way for you to go.
Exactly. KAA says, thank you. That's just great info sharing. Thank you very much, KAA. We appreciate you for being here this morning. Go ahead and make sure that you are liking the videos, that you're subscribing to our channel, that you're sharing this information with others. Okay. So let me bring this over on this screen for you guys. We're going to put this over here. All right. Here is our program. This is the program that runs everything. Okay. And so you want to put your information in our system. And here is a person who has so the loans work with an amortization schedule. They work the same way. But let me show you something. Do you know, I know some people who have their undergrad and their grad school, and they did up to their terminal degree, their doctorate, student loans. So let me show you something here. What if your student loan, okay, is somewhere between here, somewhere between $500,000 to $700,000. Okay, I've seen them that high. Okay. Do you know that with this situation, okay, these people here, this is how much they make. Okay, as a family, they make $12,000 a year. I'm sorry, $12,000 a month, $12,588 a month average. Okay, with their payments, their monthly expenses, $9,617.03 on average. Okay. Even with that. So whether that's a $600,000 mortgage or a $600,000 student loan, guess what? This family will be able to save over $798,000 in interest and pay off everything in about 10 years. Look at that. That's what our program will do for you. That's what AI will do for you. When you plug AI into your finances, this is what it can do for you. And that's what you definitely want to get this done. So make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you go to ice10k.com, go to ice10k.com and make sure you fill out that savings and earnings report. Get that done so you can know the month, day, and year you can be debt free. Okay. So watch this. Okay. Payoff date, March 14, 2034. They know their last payment on all of that debt. Oh, how much debt, Don? How much debt? Can we change this window to see how much debt there is? All right. Principal remaining, $786,000. $786,000 is going to be paid off in about 10 years. All right. So, is our soil is our source. She says, it says, I am a nurse. I'm an LPN. All right. Fantastic. So yes, there are some hospitals that would qualify. Make sure and you check and see if your hospital or wherever you work as a nurse qualifies for loan forgiveness. All right. So now we've got $786,000 that's going to be paid off in about 10 years. And this family can still go on vacation and have fun. All right. So let's also get back here. Let's see what else we can find out. That's good to know. We talked about the on-ramp. We talked about cutting their payments in half. We talked about you could qualify for 0 payments. There's even information in here about grad school, getting your grad school stuff done. Here's something interesting. Borrowers will receive credit towards forgiveness on certain deferments, including those related to unemployment, cancer treatment, military service. Going forward, borrowers will also receive a credit for certain forbearances, such as those related to natural disasters. Okay, so if you got a forbearance, you can get credit for the forbearance counting towards. Listen, there's so much in here. I wish I could unpack all of it, but I think that's probably what happened with you, Nabia, that you got credit for COVID, the forbearance there, and they counted towards payments. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine this? This will eliminate many common pitfalls that make it harder for borrowers to successfully navigate repayment. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. This is a repayment program. It can't be stopped because when the President of the United States, along with the Department of Education, works together, they can write new law. It doesn't even have to go to Congress. It already has. They have carte blanche when it comes to writing new repayment programs. Nobody can stop it. So if you got disappointed in that first program where you got $10,000 that you were going to get that immediately forgiven, this is even better. And they can't be stopped because it's written in the law. Oh my gosh. What else do we have here? Borrowers who end up in a deferment or forbearance that is not counted toward forgiveness other than in-school deferment, you will have up to 3 years to make additional payments based upon their current IDR program. All right. Income-driven repayment program to receive credit towards forgiveness for those periods. So there's also, you can get credit for periods of deferment. You just have to apply for it. It's not going to be done automatically. So folks, just like the Bia said, it's going to be important for you to get in there and talk to people about your student loans and find out what programs are available to you. And make sure you keep asking questions, because here's what I found. Not everybody that answers the phone is, how can I say this nicely? Not everybody who answers the phone there will be able to answer all of your questions the way that they're supposed to. Maybe they just don't know all the facts themselves. So if you keep asking questions, you'll get to a point where they say they don't know, or they'll have to put you on hold to go find out. Okay. But if you do some research on your own, we're supplying you with the links. Okay. We supplied you with the links to these papers, and there's more information out there. If you just do a simple Google search on the and look this up for yourself, arm yourself with this information. And so when you call, you're already knowledgeable. So when somebody makes a mistake, an honest mistake, and says, no, that's not the way it is, then you can come back and say, yes, this is exactly the way it is. And then you can read them chapter and verse, and you'll be helping them as well. But get your information first. Study it. Okay? Estimated effects of the SAVE program. What do we have here? The benefits of the SAVE program will be particularly critical for low and middle income borrowers, community college students, and borrowers who work in public service. Overall, the department estimates that the plan will have the following effects for future cohorts of borrowers compared to the existing repayee plan. Okay, here we go. Borrowers will see, this is good stuff. Borrowers will see their payments per dollar borrowed fall by at least 40%. Borrowers with the lowest projected lifetime earnings will see payments per dollar borrowed fall by 83%. 83%. That's a lot of money. Okay. While those in the top would see a 5% reduction. A typical graduate of a 4-year public university will save nearly $2,000 a year. A first-year teacher with a bachelor's degree will see a 2/3 reduction in total payments, saving more than $17,000. That's the number that you talked about, Nabia. All right. While pursuing public service loan forgiveness. While pursuing, there's your answer to your question. You can do both. Come on. While pursuing public service loan forgiveness. 85% of community college borrowers will be debt-free within 10 years. Did you hear that? 85% of community college borrowers will be debt-free within 10 years. On average, Black, Hispanic, American Indian, and Alaskan Native borrowers will see their total lifetime payments per dollar borrowed cut in half. Oh my good. Listen, we can go on and on and on, but listen, folks, we gave you the information. I gave you 2 podcasts at the top of the show. Gave you 2 podcasts. We gave you 2 links to White House information on student loans. So click on those and listen to those podcasts so that you can know the story of your student loans, and watch the P.I.L.L method. Watch our videos for understanding of how the opportunity cost calculator works and how our program can eliminate all of your debt. Even if we're not working on your student loans, we can help you to eliminate the rest of your debt in an average of 7 to 9 years. If you're a high income earner and you only get a 5% reduction, then we're going to take care of your student loans, your credit cards, your car loans, and your mortgage. Even if it's a jumbo mortgage, we're going to help you to take care of it in between 7 and 10 years and pay off everything and save hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest. Folks, I hope you enjoyed our program for today. I was just so excited. So let's go over our next 3 shows. We got 3 shows coming up that you don't want to miss. On Wednesday show. Let me, I got to pull up my information here. Hold on. Okay, wait a second. I have it here. I've got it here. Okay. There we go. Wednesday show. Here we are. All right. Let's see. Turn debt into wealth. Wednesday show is turning debt into wealth. Okay, that's Wednesday show. All right, Wednesday show, turn debt into wealth. So how do we turn that debt? How people in debt? How do we take that money that you're no longer paying an interest that you're already used to paying? You're already used to paying it, and we're going to show you how to pay less, and then you could take that money and invest it. Oh my gosh, how to turn your debt into wealth. That's what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday. That's a replay. That's a replay show. And on Sunday, okay. I think I got the dates mixed up here, Ruby. Friday is credit cards?
Yes.
Okay, Fridays is credit cards. Okay, Friday, we're going to be talking about credit cards paid off fast. Okay, Friday is credit cards paid off fast. Okay, we want to make sure you get that information there. And then on Sunday, we're going to have an expert talk about insurance. We're going to have an insurance masterclass. Insurance masterclass is going to be that. Listen, there are people out there that's giving you some bad information on insurance, which insurance is good and which insurance is bad. And we're going to have an expert in the room that day talking about which one is which. All right. What kind of insurance should you get? How about insurance that, insurance that you can build cash value with, all right, and borrow against, and insurance that you can get where your kids will automatically be insurable for the rest of their lives, no matter what type of disease or problem they get in life. They will always be able to be insurable. There's insurance out there that pays you while you're living. Yes, you can get insurance that will pay you while you're living. We're going to be talking about all of those things in the next week. So make sure that you have that information there. So be here on Wednesday at 7 a.m. Wednesday at 7 a.m. And if you can't be here, go ahead and so let me see. Is Nabia back? Nabia, you had something you wanted to share?
Yeah, I didn't go anywhere. I've been here the whole time. I actually been sharing out. I think it's important to share.
Okay, go ahead, Nabia. Go ahead and share.
So on your next show, about the insurance, I'm going to really encourage everybody and their mama, get in this room to check it out, because there is so much that's going on within life insurance. People have no idea what they are missing out on. And then, as you said, Don, there are people that they're giving information, they have no idea what they're talking about. And so when you get connected to the right people, then you will be able to get connected to the right type of insurance that you should have. And you're able to create wealth. This is what the Rockefellers did. And they pass it down. And, I don't want to give away too much, but there's a way that you can borrow against. This is tax-free money, first of all. It's tax-free. And you can literally fund your life without disrupting the actual policy. And so, as he said, he's going to have an expert in the room talking about it. I know some things about it. This is under the umbrella of being the bank, being the bank. And I love it. I love it. I love it. And going back to the student aid thing, please go in and ask some questions. If you know someone, if you know a teacher, if you know a nurse, if you know someone that works for a church or a ministry organization, please make sure you give out this. Aren't we supposed to say like, comment, and subscribe and share? Like, comment, subscribe, and share. There's a lot of information here. We don't want to overwhelm you, but there's a lot. So everybody can get something. And if it's not for you, you know somebody that this is for. So I just want to say that. But that life insurance, yeah, it's a, look, what's my t-shirt saying? A game changer. You gotta, this life insurance thing is a game changer. And it's interesting because the government knows about it, but they won't tell you. They won't tell you. They don't want to tell you anything about tax-free. So we're going to shut up on that.
All right. Thank you very much, Nabia. So, folks, listen, if I got things mixed up for a second, I got it straightened out now. Wednesday show is paying off credit cards fast. That's Wednesday show is paying off credit cards fast. All right. Friday's show is turning debt into wealth. They both start at 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern. But if you can't be there, make sure you get the replay. And on Sunday, next Sunday, Insurance Masterclass. And our special guest will be Perry Jeffries. He is a master at this information. So I can't wait to get into that next week. And listen, we're going to be talking about brother AJ. I testified to that. IULs are good to have. Listen, we're going to be talking about IULs as well. IULs, whole life. We're going to be talking about 20-year term insurance. I'll tell you a little story about me, and maybe you can avoid this. When my wife and I got married, we had 20-year term insurance. Okay, it was quite sizable. But in the meantime, I am now a cancer survivor, and I've outlived my 20-year term insurance, and now it's almost impossible for me to get another policy. So I'm self-insured now, but we're building up our business assets to more than replace that insurance anyway. But you want to avoid situations like that. So this is one of the reasons why I want to do this show, so that what happened to me won't happen to you. And there are people out there right now that are telling you only get term, all right, and invest the rest. Well, we're going to talk about that. Okay. So Wednesday, credit cards. Friday, turning debt into wealth. And Sunday, Insurance Masterclass. So I want to thank everybody for being here. Okay. And listen, that's it for today. So I want to play another video for you, but please don't forget to go to ice10k.com and get your savings and earnings report. Also, click on buy my book, because it gives you great information on how all of this starts to work. It changes your mindset. All right. It doesn't give you quote unquote instruction, but it gives you a change in mindset, and it gives you the tools that you need to do everything. All right. And become an affiliate. Help us to get the message out. Sign up to become an affiliate, and we'll pay you anywhere from $300 to $3,000 a month and we'll teach you how to share the information on the YouTube channel. Just point people to the YouTube channel. And when they want more information, just tell us who they are. And then we'll pay you for that. All right. So don't miss out on any of that. So listen, folks, I'm going to say goodbye for now. We're going to play one more video for you, and then we're out. See you on Wednesday. Bye-bye. How many want to know how to pay off all of your debt in an average of 7 to 9 years? You can do all of this without refinancing, without change to your budget, without sacrificing lifestyle.
Me and my husband do the P.I.L. method, and last year we were able to pay down $33,000 on our mortgage without feeling like we were poor. We still did tons of entertaining things and enjoyed our family.
You don't have to eat beans and rice every day. You don't have to cut up your credit cards.
You don't have to drive a 30-year-old car. You don't have to sell pizzas at night to pay off your mortgage. All you need to do is pay the bank less interest. That's what we're talking about today. Here is what P.I.L.L method stands for: prepayment of principal, isolation of principal amounts, leverage, and liquidity. You understand it? You have a way of getting out of debt more efficiently. The interest rate you're quoted is not the interest rate you pay. You think you're buying a $500,000 home. The true cost of that home is what? $758,000. Total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 51.777%. That's what's going on with this loan. The ability to read and defeat an amortization schedule is not taught at any level of financial education. I need you to understand the power of a penny. You will not hear what I'm talking about from Dave Ramsey. Do you know why? Because I own the copyright. I literally wrote the book.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.